Welcome into the Fantasy Football Diagnostics Podcast, where we provide you with your weekly diagnosis of everything fantasy football. Whether it's season-long leagues, dynasty, DFS, or sometimes even IDP, we got you covered all year long. Let's do it. Let's get to it. Welcome into the Fantasy Football Diagnostics Podcast. And of course, without a doubt, I am your host, John June. And of course, got to have my guy, Greg Penniman, here with me. Greg, what's good, man?
Chilling, yo. Doing right well. About to get into week 8. Getting excited. Getting basically halfway through the fantasy regular season. Like it's 14 weeks now. So we passed the halfway point. This would be the start of it. So yeah, I'm really excited.
I don't know what was going on. My mute button wouldn't unmute me, but yeah, man. I mean, halfway through it, just about. So like more than halfway through, right?
Yeah, so week 7. We have 14 games. Yeah.
So you got to get into those playoffs. You got to get those wins. You got to start racking them up. Like I like to say, got to go 1-0 every week, man. It's a new week. You got to do whatever you got to do to get a win. And so hopefully that's coming here, kicking it with us for hopefully less than an hour, whether it's Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, whatever your flavor is. Just make sure you're here kicking it with us, and make sure you hit subscribe and hit that notification bell and whatnot, so you can get all the news about when me and Greg pop up on this feed with some heat. So that being said, let's jump into these week 8 matchups. You know how it goes. We're gonna break these 1 p.m. games down. You want to hear the 4 p.m. and the primetime games, you got to come back here tomorrow for that, along with those starts of the weekend that get money. So, that being said, let's jump right into the matchups, man. This first game, the 1-6 Miami Dolphins traveling to Buffalo to take on the 4-2 Buffalo Bills. This is a 49.5 point total, where the Bills are 13.5 point favorites. In terms of weather, most of the games are actually good this weekend. There's a little bit of rain. Nothing too windy, but there is some rain in this game. Nothing to be concerned about again. But in terms of injuries on the Buffalo side, Dawson Knox, he is the tight end who's enjoying a breakout season. He's out with a broken hand. So that's going to be obviously a blow to the Buffalo side. Believe they will manage, though. But on the Miami side, Malcolm Brown, he's on IR. So he'll miss this. At least 3 weeks. I think he'll be out for the season here. I think it might have been season ending. I'm not entirely sure. But Devontae Parker, he was limited in practice with a hamstring injury. So Greg, that being said, where are you going with this matchup?
I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take the Bills to cover. I'm going to take the Bills to win. Bills just playing like one of the best teams in football, just handling opponents every week. On Miami side, I'm not really too crazy about a lot of the Dolphins pieces, except Jalen Waddle and Mike Gesicki. Mike Gesicki being a low and tight end 1, Waddle being wide receiver 3 territory for me. I am liking good news about Myles Gaskin. 1, Malcolm Brown is out. He's on IR for so that is one thing. He got a season high of carries in week 7. 15. He's still running a solid number of routes, but the matchup is really tough. So I think he can give you a low-end RB2 week for PPR leagues. I think they are not going to test him with the run. They're probably going to throw Myles Gaskin the ball, and he's their best running back receiver they have. So on the Buffalo side, Josh Allen, QB1, top 5 play. Diggs is in the smash spot here. I think especially if he sees a lot of Byron Jones, Xavier Howard probably was switching on him a little bit, but not afraid of the matchup. With Dawson Knox being out, I think that favors Cole Beasley probably the most, getting those targets. I think he has wide receiver 2 upside, and definitely wide receiver 3, getting those wide receiver 2 upside. He finally bounced back the week before the bye.
Yeah, did you say anything on the Miami side?
Yeah. Like.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. You did. You went off on Gaskin. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take the over here. Actually, I'm gonna take Buffalo to cover, taking Buffalo to win. In regards to the Miami side, it's shorter, so I'll start there. Gesicki, Jalen Waddle. I do like your points on Gaskin, though. The backfield seems to be, obviously with Malcolm Brown not in it, there's more opportunities for him. He has been getting some of that workload too, and obviously we know he's one of the top targets out of the backfield. So I'm definitely okay with him as a an RB2, RB3 this week.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously upside for more, but I think that his role probably gets a little bit safer as the season progresses in terms of the amount of volume that he could see on a week-to-week basis. On the Buffalo side, I think Josh Allen is the
QB1.
potentially the QB1 this week. The matchup is great. He always lights up Miami too. I think it's too good, and I think I'm with you, man. Diggs, I like him as a wide receiver one, potentially the wide receiver. Cooper Kupp. So, but
Cooper Kupp.
the top 2, top 3 wide receiver on the week. I also think Emmanuel Sanders, who's been playing really well, I think he's a wide receiver one option this week. This matchup is really, really good for these Buffalo wide receivers and this Buffalo passing game. And Cole Beasley, I love your points there about Dawson Knox. I think that opens up some targets in the middle of the field there for him. So I think he definitely gets a bump, and the matchup is good. And then Zach Moss, I think, favorable game script, 13.5-point favorites at home. I think he's in RB2 territory, especially with how bad Miami has been against running backs.
Yeah, Miami's just been bad against everybody, everything.
All right, moving on to this next matchup, also 1 p.m. We've got the 3-4 Carolina Panthers traveling to Atlanta to take on the 3-3 Atlanta Falcons. 46-point total. Falcons are 3-point favorites. This game is in a dome, so don't worry about the weather. In terms of injuries, Atlanta is okay. Stephon Gilmore, newly acquired cornerback for Carolina. He's dealing with a quad injury, so it's questionable as to whether he will play this week. In terms of the matchup here, I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take Atlanta to cover. Going to take Atlanta to win here. I think Matt Ryan is firmly in QB1 territory for me. I think Pitts continues his ascension. He's probably arrived already as a tight end one.
Sir.
I think the conversation needs to be how soon will he take that throne as the tight end one. I don't know. But anyway, Calvin Ridley, a wide receiver 2, I think, with wide receiver 1 upside. I think we just probably have to adjust expectations a little bit. Not necessarily just for Calvin Ridley. I think Matt Ryan has not been playing as well this season. The deep ball has not necessarily been there. And so nothing wrong with that. Calvin Ridley, I think, is a wide receiver 2 with wide receiver 1 upside. And then Cordell Patterson, an RB2 with that weekly RB1 upside. On the Carolina side, Chuba Hubbard, he's got to be an RB1 this week, man.
Yeah.
Like Matt Rule, what are you doing? You said you want to run the ball more. You come out and you don't run the ball, and then you say you lament not running the ball more. Just hand the ball to Chuba Hubbard. I get it. He's not CMC, but we'll take 75 to 80% of it. So the matchup here is nice. I think he just needs some opportunities here for Hubbard. And then DJ Moore, he's a wide receiver 2, but he could easily be a wide receiver 1. We know that. Darnold has played poorly, so some of that is on him. But if Darnold could play better, the matchup is good here. I wouldn't be surprised if DJ Moore ends up in wide receiver 1 territory. And don't be surprised if Darnold is able to turn it around. I'm just probably not betting on it this week.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take Atlanta to cover. I'm going to take Atlanta to win. On Carolina side, yeah, Sam Darnold has been pretty horrible of late, but he's in that QB2 territory for me. Just because it's going to be a high-scoring game, there'll be opportunities. Both these teams run a high number of plays, so I do like Sam Darnold slightly. DJ Moore, I think he's in a beautiful matchup. Expect if Darnold's going to do well, majority of his production is going to go to DJ Moore. Chuba Hubbard, I got him as an RB2, but I do have him with some RB1 upside because the matchup is really good, and hopefully Matt Rule's emphasis on running the ball actually sticks. But on the Atlanta side, continue to fire Matt Ryan is a lone QB1 right now. He's playing much better after those first couple weeks. So, yeah, continue to fire him up, especially because Carolina's rush defense is just really good. So they definitely want to put it in the air. Cordell Patterson, he's a lone RB1, wide receiver 1, how you want to ever put it. Back-to-back weeks with 14 carries. He's running at least 26 routes in last 2 games. Continue to fire him up. Kyle Pitts, love him in this matchup as well. And, I'm still a fan of Ridley. I think I agree with you on that assessment. I think he's still a buy low candidate if you can get that, though.
Yeah, definitely think he, and I'm glad that you said that because I definitely think he's still a buy low. I think we just have to adjust expectations.
Yeah.
Like you're not buying low on a wide receiver that's going to finish as a top 3, top 5 wide receiver that we maybe thought when the season started or before it started. But I think he's still a guy can finish in that wide receiver 12 to 16 range and still have some wide receiver 1 weeks. Moving on to this next matchup, man, we've got the 2-5 Philadelphia Eagles traveling to Motown to take on the 0-7 Detroit Lions. This is a 48-point total. The Philadelphia Eagles are 3.5-point favorites there. In terms of the weather here, this game's in the dome, so I don't need to worry about that. But in terms of injuries, DeAndre Swift obviously he's dealing with that groin injury, so he'll be a limited participant in practice. TJ Hawkinson, he's limited as well with a knee and the ankle. And then Jamal Williams, he was limited participant with the thigh. So, Greg, where are you at in terms of this matchup here?
I'm going also the over in this game. Detroit Lions to cover, but I'm taking the Eagles to win. It's going to be a close game, but I do like on Philly side. You already know Hurt season, QB1 season continues. Detroit should make him look good before the fourth quarter, hopefully. So that should be nice for his season-long outlook. Kenneth Gainwell, I guess the obvious bump, of course, because of the Miles Sanders injury in the receiving role for sure. But I think he has some low-end RB2 value. I'm not touching the Boston Scott and Jordan Howard. They'll probably split carries. So it'd be pretty tough for me to trust any of them in any formats. But if you want to speculative add, if you're desperate for a running back right now, Jordan Howard could be in play down the line while Miles Sanders is hurt. Dallas Goedert, tied in 1 for me. And Devontae Smith, his target share and his AR share is still very healthy. He's getting a 23% target share. I think he's a lock for a top 24 play here in the solid matchup. I think he gets this bounce back. On Detroit side, you already know Swift and Hawkinson, both top 5 options at their position. And your guess is good as mine for this complimentary receiver. Is Khalif Raymond 1 week, I'm on Ross St. Brown another week. I'm not really going to trust either of them. Plus, Philly's been pretty good against outside receivers so far. So, yeah, I'm not touching that.
Yeah, man, I'm going to take the over here. I actually think I'm going to take Detroit to cover, man. I really do.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Detroit to win.
Ooh.
It's I mean, look, it's just this the way I think it is, you know. But I think this game will be a lot of fun. Like,
yes, yeah,
I feel like it will be a lot of fun because you combine the Detroit trying to be in every game that they play, and Philadelphia fighting tooth and nail in the fourth quarter to stay in every game that they play. I think that combination right there will lead us to a good game here. So I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I think there could be a lot of fantasy points on for the Detroit side. DeAndre Swift has a wonderful matchup this week. TJ Hawkinson also has a wonderful matchup this week. So both of these guys are in top option of their positions territory this week. And then I agree with you. It's hard to guess who the number 2 option is. It seems like based on the way it's trended over the last 3 weeks that it is Khalif Raymond. So if I had to choose one, that's probably the one that I would go with. But I'm staying away from Jared Goff, no matter how good this matchup is or how good I think it is for his weapons. I don't want to play Jared Goff. But on the Philly side, Jalen Hurts, I totally agree with you. I think Detroit can stink it up enough on the defensive side of the ball for the first 3 quarters to allow Jalen Hurts to have some fantasy production there and potentially end up with a top 3 finish this week. And then Devontae Smith, your assessment was totally perfect, man. I mean, the air yards are there, the target share is there. Everything tells you he should be a good play. Yeah. Until you play him.
Oh man.
So I mean, I'm still gonna play him.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I don't have much of any Devontae Smith, so I don't feel the pain that others may feel when they put him in their lineup and they're expecting double-digit points and they go and they check and it's like 7.5 points or something like that.
Yep.
But I'm still going to play him, especially if the matchup is good for Jalen Hurts from a passing perspective. Dallas Goedert, tight end 1. If Miles, and I don't know why I failed to read off the Philadelphia side, but if Miles Sanders can't play, if he is playing, he's probably in my lineup just because the matchup is so good. But if he's not playing, Kenneth Gainwell is probably where I'm going to go. Boston Scott was also involved last week too, so had a couple goal line carries. So be mindful of his potential involvement as well too. Moving on to this next game here, we got the 4-2 Tennessee Titans traveling to Indianapolis to take on the 3-4 Indianapolis Colts. 51-point total. Titans are 1.5 point favorites. This game is in a dome, so no worry about the weather. In terms of injuries, T.Y. Hilton, he's limited with that quad. Tennessee is okay on that front. And in terms of the matchup here, taking the over, taking Tennessee to cover, taking Tennessee to win. On the Indy side, I got 2 words. Feed JT. That's really
please.
It. It's just
please.
JT.
This is the game, yo. This is the game.
Like we said, man, the example is there on the other side with Derrick Henry. Just give JT the ball. I was going back, honestly, Greg, because we were talking about Marlon Mack yesterday, and I was going back. I looked at the game logs. Like, Marlon Mack had a 25 carry game, 29 carry game.
Oh,
like,
yo, what's going on here?
Why can't get this for JT, man?
I don't understand. It's not like they're throwing the ball crazy. So,
But, hey, man, if you're going to throw it, though, keep throwing it to my man, Michael Pittman.
Yes, sir.
A wide receiver 1 for me this week. Carson Wentz, borderline quarterback 1 for me this week as well. And the Mo Alley Cox, definitely in streaming territory, has been getting it done in that realm. So continue to roll him out there. For the Tennessee side, give me the triplets. And yes, I'm talking about Ryan Tannehill, A.J. Brown, Derrick Henry. I think they all can finish as top options at their positions. Julio Jones probably lands in a low-end wide receiver 2 territory for me. But, I think that's pretty much it on the Tennessee side. That offense is really so concentrated that I don't know. I'm not really trying to attach myself to too much of it on the outside of those top 4 options.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take the Titans to cover. I'm going to take the Titans to win. Tennessee just seems to find a way to win coming down the stretch. Both these teams also run a lot of plays, so I like that. On the Tennessee side, Derrick Henry, he's ranked as my RB1 on the week. A.J. Brown, wide receiver 1 season is back. He's got 2 straight games with at least 7 receptions as well. So he's getting a lot of catches. Over the last 3 games, Tennessee is last in pass plays, so Tannehill, I think he's going to have a solid week. I think his upside, QB1 upside is a little capped, but the matchup is really good. But I just, they think they feel like they just trust Henry more, get him close to 30 carries as they usually try to do. On Indy side, the matchup is also great for Wentz. They're both Indy and Tennessee have been actually not throwing it too much. So they just need to feed JT. That's what they really need to do. I think I have him as a top 5 RB play. Michael Pittman. He's in a great matchup. When Wentz is going to throw the ball, it's got to be to Michael Pittman. Tennessee's giving up the most receiving yards per game to the wide receivers. No Hilton again. So the tight ends, Mo Alley Cox, if you're desperate for a tight end, I think he's a tight end 2 option as well. And Zach Pascal in some deeper formats.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Moving on to this next matchup, man. We've got the 6-1 LA Rams traveling to Houston to take on the 1-6 Houston Texans. This game is a 48-point total. The Rams are 14.5-point favorites here. This game is being played in a dome. A lot of dome games this week. I love that.
I love it. Yes, sir.
Tyrod for the Houston side returned to practice with that hamstring injury, so be on the lookout for that. The LA Rams, in terms of injuries, they're okay. In terms of the game here, I'm going to take the under. Going to take the Rams to cover. Going to take the Rams to win. Brandon Cooks, David Johnson. Brandon Cooks, revenge game. Man.
Always Brandon Cooks. That's what.
Yeah, but the matchup isn't that great.
I know. I mean, Tyrod might be back. Tyrod might be back.
I mean, has it mattered?
Tyrod's back. Tyrod's been he played well when he was in there.
No, I'm just saying he's gonna get fed these targets. So does it matter who the quarterback?
Oh, right. I mean, if they're catchable, yes. If they are catchable.
More catchable targets. Yeah. I could dig that. David Johnson, no Mark Ingram.
I
I mean, like super deep RB3, RB4
Yeah,
territory,
I guess
right?
if I'm really desperate, you're right. If I went like no running back during the draft, yeah, probably.
On the Rams side, as we talked about it, Cooper Kupp, wide receiver 1 or 2 on the week. Matthew Stafford. I have him in my notes as a wide receiver 1, but that is a typo because he's a quarterback this week. I'm still treating Robert Woods though as a wide receiver 2. The target share is still there. Is it the same as Cooper Kupp's? No, but it's still pretty good, so I'll take it. Darrell Henderson and RB2 for me, and then Tyler Higbee I think is a tight end 1 this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the under, taking the Rams to cover, taking the Rams to win on Houston. It's Brandon Cooks. That's the only option I'm considering. He's a wide receiver 3. Got some wide receiver 2 upside if Tyrod could play. I really think Tyrod does make a difference with this team. I'm not trusting anyone else. On the Rams side, Stafford, like him as a QB1, expecting to bounce back for Darrell Henderson for sure as a low-end RB1. Cooper Kupp, agree with you. He's either the 1 or the 2 as far as rank as wide receiver. Love Tyler Higbee's matchup, actually. I saw an interesting tweet from Pat Fitzmaurice that Higbee's got 11 red zone targets this year, only 1 touchdown, and the Texans are giving up the most touchdowns to tight end this year. So I think this is a good spot for Tyler Higbee. Van Jefferson is a deep league dart play. He's got 3 touchdowns on the season. He also played 100% of the snaps last week, so it's interesting. So if you're in a super deep league, you could make that play.
Okay, interesting. It's interesting tidbits there on the Rams side.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to this next game, which doesn't interest me anyway whatsoever.
Greg Joey B.
43.5. The 5-2 Cincinnati Bengals traveling to MetLife to take on the 1-5 New York Jets. This is a 43.5 point total. The Bengals are 10.5 point favorites. In terms of weather, it's okay. In terms of injuries, Cincinnati's okay. On the Jets side, Corey Davis, he's limited with a hip. Rookie quarterback Zach Wilson, he's out with the knee. Greg, the Bengals are, I think I read this already, 43.5 points.
Yeah.
Total 10.5 point favorites. I'm sorry. It's just, that defense mechanism. I'm trying to wipe this out.
I know. This, especially after last week.
Just give me more pain. Give me more pain, Greg.
Yeah, I'm taking the under. I'm taking the Cincinnati Bengals cover. I'm taking the Bengals to win. I'll talk about the Jets first. I do like Michael Carter. He's definitely a weekly RB2. That territory there for him. Corey Davis has a tough matchup. He also popped up as limited on the practice. We don't really like late adds to the injury report. So he's seen at least 5 targets in every game. If he can go, he's like a low end flex, but I'm gonna try to avoid it. I do like the potential for Elijah Moore in this game. Maybe a little sighting. He's got Eli Apple. Eli Apple's pretty trash this year. Also, he got a rushing touchdown, so he could be a little deep league player.
Who's throwing the ball, Greg?
I don't know. Joe Flacco, right?
Mike White, I believe.
Oh, Mike White. Oh, I don't know. He got the rushing touchdown last week, so they can use him. They can use him there. Cincinnati though, Joe Burrow, QB1 week. He's throwing the ball over the last 3 weeks. You love to see that. Love the running game here. Joe Mixon has started the week potential. 3rd in the league in rushing yards. Samaje Perine, I like him as well. He's also in play. The Cincinnati should be up heavy. And Perine's got 2 straight games with at least 11 carries. Scored in the last 2 games as well. Jamar Chase, you already know, wide receiver 1. And either the Jets' rush defense is really bad or the Jets' corners have just been pretty decent this year. So, Higgins, I like him as well, but I probably will fade Boyd a little more. I think they're going to run the ball a lot, actually. And I think I'll probably take like Cole Beasley, Tim Patrick, or like Jerry Jeudy over like Boyd this week.
Yeah, I'm going to take the under here. I'm going to take Cincinnati to cover, taking Cincinnati to win. Let's start with the Jets side because that's the easiest side. Michael Carter, low-end RB2, but that's as far as I'm going. I'm not touching Corey Davis between a backup quarterback, a hip injury, this future offense. I don't think I want to attach myself to Corey Davis. Did I just mention the matchup wasn't that great? Yeah. So on the Cincy side, yes, Greg, the Joe Mixon start of the week potential here.
Yeah.
Samaje Perine, definitely think you could play him. There's a combination that you asked a question about. It's either the Jets are have really good corners or they're a really bad run defense. I think it's a combination of things. They have not been great at stopping the run. Teams have been running the ball at them. Their corners, Bryce Hall has been pretty good all year.
Yeah.
As Michael Carter in the slot's been pretty good too. I'm not going to shy away from Joe Burrow or Jamar Chase or T. Higgins for that reason, because at the end of the day, they're the Jets give up a lot of touchdowns, and whether that happens through the ground, to running backs or to tight ends or to whoever, I think T. Higgins, Jamar Chase are definitely in line to score some touchdowns there. I will stay away from Tyler Boyd, though. I think he's the only guy probably not invited to the party because Michael Carter, like I mentioned, Michael Carter the second, who plays in the slot.
Right.
Forgot I got to note that out.
That's crazy.
That made me confused. Like, why are we talking about Michael Carter again? Michael Carter the second, who plays corner. He's been really good in the slot, holding it down there for the Jets. So Uzama, did I say it correctly? Because he was out there. He posted that video. Uzama. Okay, Uzama has a wonderful matchup as well.
That's right.
Against the Jets here. Opportunity to catch a touchdown pass or two like he did last week. So yeah, with that being said, other than that, I'm ready to move on from this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what's crazy though? I was actually gonna go to this game. I was gonna try to go to this game. Not anymore. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Moving on to this next matchup, man. We got the 3-3 Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to Cleveland, and the Cleveland Browns can't be 3-3. This has to be a typo in my notes. They're either 3-4 or 4-3.
Definitely. I think they're definitely under 500 because they haven't been winning lately. I'm gonna check.
I feel like they're 4-3. I'm gonna just go 4-3. Maybe Greg can fact check me in the meantime. But gonna go in terms of weather's actually supposedly okay here. In terms of the injuries, Nick Chubb, he was limited participant with that calf injury. 4-3.
4-3. Yes, sir.
All right. Baker Mayfield, limited participant with a shoulder, and Pittsburgh is okay on that front. I'm going to go with the under. 42.5 point total. Browns are 3.5 point favorites. I'm going with the under here. Going Pittsburgh to cover. Pittsburgh to win. On the Cleveland side, I think it's just Nick Chubb.
Yes.
I think that's it.
Yeah, you're right.
For Pittsburgh, Najee Harris, Deontay Johnson, top options at their positions. Chase Claypool, a wide receiver 2. Big Ben, my stream of the week. I think he's a quarterback 1 for me. I don't want to say it, but I think he's a quarterback 1 for me. I got him ranked in my top 12. I'm just gonna leave it at that, and I'm just gonna let you go, Greg.
I'm going to take the under, taking Pittsburgh Steelers to cover. I'm gonna take Pittsburgh to win actually. On Cleveland, Nick Chubb is the only super relevant player you want. I mean, I'll tell the people about where I rank other people like Dearness Johnson. I think he slides into top. RB3 play because he could score a touchdown. The receivers, they're wide receiver 4s. It's crazy. They're outside the top 30. So it's if you're in the deep league, you're playing them. Don't really trust the tight ends. Pittsburgh, Ben's matchup is juicy. I think I have him as a QB2. So he's QB 15 range for me. Najee Harris, matchup proof RB1. Deontay Johnson, you love him as a wide receiver 1. His target share is close to 29%. Claypool, I like him as a low end wide receiver 2. And Pat Freiermuth, his numbers are trending up a little bit. A little deep sleeper.
I'm actually upset that you mentioned him before, because I've been talking about him for 2 weeks now, off air. But go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yeah, numbers are trending up. I think he's got value. He's had a season high snap share, routes and target last week. I added him in my 16-team league, so I think he's a tight end 2 right now territory. But he was put some tight end 1 weeks before the end of the season.
If you're in tight end 2 territory, you're basically in tight end 1 territory.
True. That's true, because you can score a touchdown and that makes you a tight end 1. So you're right. Yeah. He's relevant.
Definitely somebody I like. Has 7 of 7 targets. In his last game, had the bye, and as we say,
yep.
rookies after the bye week. So, yeah, I like Freiermuth to have a good one this week, potentially. Moving on to this next matchup and the last matchup that we will cover these 1 p.m. games. The 2-4 San Francisco 49ers traveling to Chicago to take on the 3-4 Chicago Bears. 39.5 point total. That is a low total.
Yeah.
The Niners are 3.5 point favorites. In terms of the injuries here, or in terms of the weather's okay, but in terms of injuries, Khalil Mack for the Bears is doubtful with a foot injury. On the San Fran side, Deebo Samuel is limited participant with a calf injury. In terms of the game, though, Greg, what say you?
I'm going to take the over only because this line is so low. I'm going to take San Fran to cover, and I'm going to take San Fran to win. This is like the least interesting game on the slate to me. I mean, on the San Fran side, I like Eli Mitchell as a in that low RB2 territory. Deebo Samuel, you're starting him up. You're firing him up for sure. And on Chicago side, I really only like Khalil Herbert. That's really about it. He's an RB2, solid RB2 territory for me. I think Damian Williams is the stash until Montgomery's back, just in case they decide to give Damian Montgomery a little more touches because he was off COVID, so I want to see how his numbers are this game as far as usage. But yeah, that's about it.
Bro, literally in my notes, Khalil Herbert. That's it.
Yeah, bro, it's bad. It's bad. I mean, yeah.
You know what I was thinking? I had a few things go through my mind when I saw this line of 39.5. Right.
Mm-hmm.
First, I thought, wow, that line is really low. I think I'm gonna take the over, but then I was like, I'll probably take the under, which I did take the under. I'm taking the Niners to cover, Niners to win. Then my immediate thought was, do they think Trey Lance is playing? No. But how low would this line be if Trey Lance was starting?
Yeah, these are all really good thoughts.
Right? Like,
yeah.
How low would it be when you got Trey Lance versus Justin Fields? Like, how low would that line be?
I've never seen anything lower than 39.5, right? 37.5 maybe? Like
37, 36.
30. Yeah. Oh, brutal, man.
Terrible.
Yeah.
But anyways, like I said, taking the under, taking the Niners to cover, Niners to win. Khalil Herbert, that's it on the Chicago side. Deebo Samuel and Elijah Mitchell, that's it on the San Fran side.
Yeah, that's it. This game is not interesting to me at all.
I would rather watch the Detroit Philly game. Like,
yeah,
100
absolutely.
out of 100 would rather watch the Detroit Philly game. All right, man. Well, we got it done short and sweet, under an hour. Actually, it'll be less than that. But anyways, we appreciate y'all for listening. We appreciate y'all for spending this time with us. And we'll catch y'all tomorrow for these game previews part 2, starts of the week, and get money where apparently I can't beat Greg anymore. So
I got my streak back. Yes, I found it.
There's that. But until next time, y'all, we love you. We appreciate you. And we are out of here. Peace.
Yes, sir. We out.